Have you ever wondered what happens when everything you thought defined you simply disappears? When success, wealth, and power crumble like sand through your fingers? Welcome to GitaSahasram. In the heart of Mumbai's financial district, where glass towers pierce the sky and money flows like the sacred Ganges, lived a man named Vikram Sharma. At 35, he was the golden boy of investment banking. Every morning, Vikram would wake in his luxurious apartment overlooking Marine Drive, his silk kurta replaced by an expensive suit. His reflection in the mirror showed a man who had conquered the world of finance. But success came with a price. Vikram worked 18-hour days, his phone buzzing with market updates even during his mother's morning prayers. He had forgotten the taste of his grandmother's kheer, the sound of temple bells, the peace of evening aarti. Money became his mantra. Profit, his prayer. The stock market, his temple. He believed that wealth was the ultimate measure of a man's worth, just as his favorite verse said, Karmayadhikraste emevit macron falehu kachana, but he had forgotten the true meaning. One evening, as Vikram celebrated closing a 100 crore deal, his phone rang. His mother's voice was heavy with worry. Beta, your father, he's in the hospital. Please come. But Vikram looked at his watch. The international markets were about to open. 5 minutes, Ma. Just 5 minutes. I have to close this deal. Those were the last words his father heard from his successful son. By the time Vikram reached the hospital, his father had already begun his final journey. But even grief couldn't stop the machine. The next morning, Vikram was back at his desk, thinking that work would heal the pain. Little did he know that Lord Krishna had other plans for him. The crash came without warning. Like the sudden storm that Lord Indra once sent to Vrindavan, the market crashed with devastating force. In just 2 days, everything Vikram had built over 15 years vanished. His investments, his savings, his home, his car, all gone. The banks called. The creditors demanded payment. Friends avoided his calls. In 3 weeks, Vikram Sharma went from penthouse to a small rented room in Dharavi. One morning, as Vikram sat on his small cot, staring at the newspaper's job section, he noticed something. His elderly neighbor, Rameshji, was humming peacefully while cooking his simple breakfast of roti and dal. Rameshji, Vikram asked, you have so little, yet you seem so happy. I had everything, and now I have nothing. How do you find peace? The old man smiled and pointed to a small, worn copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Beta, Rameshji said gently, Shri Krishna teaches us that we have the right to perform our duties, but not to the fruits of our actions. You were attached to the results, not the work itself. That night, Vikram opened the Gita for the first time since childhood. The words seemed to glow in the dim light. Karmayadhikraste emevit macron falehu kachana, you have the right to perform your prescribed duties, but not to the fruits of action. As days passed, Vikram began to understand. He had been a servant of results, not of Dharma. He had worshipped the fruit, not the tree. Like Arjuna on the battlefield, he had been paralyzed by attachment to outcomes. Krishna had taught Arjuna about Vairagya through detachment. Not the detachment of running away from the world, but of being in the world without letting the world be in you. Like a lotus in muddy water, remaining pure. Vikram began to see his life differently. The crash wasn't Krishna's punishment, it was his grace. Just as Krishna had lifted the Govardhan hill to protect the people from Indra's storm, this crisis was lifting him from his spiritual poverty. He remembered his grandmother's words, "Beta, when little Krishna stole butter, did Yashoda punish him? No, she tied him to a mortar. But Krishna dragged it and uprooted to trees, freeing the trapped souls within." Sometimes, bondage leads to liberation. Slowly, Vikram began to change. Instead of chasing jobs for money alone, he looked for work that brought meaning. He started teaching financial literacy to young people in his neighborhood, sharing knowledge without expecting anything in return. The old Vikram would have been embarrassed to teach for such a small fee. But the new Vikram found joy in the spark of understanding in a student's eyes. He had learned that success isn't about what you gain, but what you give. One evening, as Vikram walked home from his teaching job, he saw a familiar sight. A businessman in an expensive car, phone pressed to his ear, missing his daughter's school function. Vikram smiled sadly, remembering his own lost priorities. That night, Vikram wrote in his journal, "I thought I lost everything in the crash. But I realize now, I had already lost everything long before. I lost my father's last moments, my mother's tears, my own soul. The crash just made it visible." 6 months later, Vikram received an offer from a prestigious bank. The salary was enormous, the position powerful. The old Vikram would have jumped at it. But now, he paused and asked himself, what would Krishna do? He declined the offer. Instead, he chose to work with a small firm that focused on ethical investments and helped common people secure their futures. The salary was modest, but his heart was full. Krishna teaches us that attachment to wealth is like holding sand in a closed fist. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But when you open your hand, you can hold all the sand you need. Vikram learned that Vairagya doesn't mean giving up ambition, it means working with dedication while being free from the anxiety of results. Like a skilled archer who aims perfectly but doesn't worry about hitting the target. One day, a young analyst from his old firm visited Vikram. The boy was stressed, overworked, and on the verge of a breakdown. "Sir," he said, "I want to earn money quickly. I want to become like you were." Vikram smiled gently. "Beta, I understand your hunger for success. But let me ask you, when you eat delicious food, do you enjoy the taste, or do you just worry about finishing the meal? Work should be like eating with full attention and gratitude. When you focus only on results, you miss the joy of the journey. Krishna says, perform your duty, but don't be attached to the fruits." The young man was confused. "But sir, if I don't think about results, how will I succeed?" Vikram opened his worn copy of the Gita and read, "Yog karmasu kaushalam." Yoga is skill in action. When you work with complete focus and dedication, without anxiety about results, you naturally perform better. Your mind is calm, your decisions are clearer, and success comes naturally. As months passed, Vikram's new life took shape. He would wake early, practice meditation, and start his day with gratitude. His small apartment became a sanctuary of peace, not a showcase of wealth. His mother, who had been worried sick about his financial situation, began to notice something beautiful. Her son, who had been distant and stressed as a wealthy man, was now present and peaceful as a simpler one. One evening, as Vikram helped his mother with her evening prayers, she said, "Beta, you lost your money, but you found your Dharma. You lost your wealth, but you gained your soul. The true test came when Vikram's former boss offered him a partnership, unlimited money, power, and prestige. Think about it, he said. You can have everything back. But Vikram had learned the true meaning of everything. Thank you, sir, Vikram replied, but I already have everything I need. I have meaningful work, loving relationships, and inner peace. What more could a man want? Years later, Vikram would tell his students, I thought the market crash destroyed my life. But it actually saved it. Sometimes, what appears to be Krishna's punishment is actually his greatest blessing. He had learned that true wealth isn't measured in rupees or dollars, but in the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are living according to your dharma, not your desires. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that the soul is like the sun, it shines equally on a palace and a hut. External circumstances cannot touch our inner divinity. We suffer only when we identify with temporary things. Vikram's story reminds us that Vairagya, detachment, is not about renouncing the world, but about renouncing our attachment to worldly results. We can work with full dedication while remaining free from anxiety. In our modern world, we often chase success like a dog chasing its own tail. The faster we run, the more tired we become, but we never reach our goal. Krishna offers us a different path. Whether you are a student preparing for exams, a professional building your career, or a parent raising children, remember Vikram's lesson, focus on your actions, not your anxieties about results. When we truly understand that we are souls having a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience, we become free from the fear of loss and the greed for gain. Vikram's Wall Street may have crashed, but his soul was finally liberated. He learned that the greatest investment is not in stocks or bonds, but in understanding our true nature as eternal souls. As Krishna taught Arjuna, and as life taught Vikram, true success comes not from accumulating wealth, but from realizing that we are already complete, already whole, already divine. The next time you face a crisis, remember Vikram's story. Ask yourself, is this happening to me, or for me? Sometimes, what breaks us down is actually breaking us open to receive divine grace. In this age of endless competition and material pursuit, let us remember that the ultimate victory is not defeating others, but conquering our own attachments and fears. May we all find our own path to Vairagya, our own journey from attachment to freedom, from anxiety to peace, from ego to soul. This is the true wealth that no market crash can ever touch. Hare Krishna.